still held. I used to think being held looked a certain way. It looked like parents in the bleachers, like prayers whispered I didn't hear, like showing up again and again, even when it was inconvenient or loud or imperfect. I understood that kind of holding long before I had words for it, before I knew what it meant to lose it, before I knew what it meant to become it. What I didn't understand then is that being held doesn't disappear when the people who first carried you step back. It doesn't end when life grows more complicated or when faith becomes something you have to choose instead of inherit. It simply changes hands. The stories I tell aren't because life was perfect. They're because life was lived, imperfectly, often awkwardly, sometimes painfully, but with intention. I've known sadness, loss, disappointment, and dissolution. I've carried the weight of choices I would make differently now. I've spent more time than I care to admit, overthinking nearly everything. I've wrestled with decisions that didn't come with clean answers and walked through seasons where faith felt less like comfort and more like tension. I've argued with God, not theatrically, just honestly. I've questioned timing, wondered whether obedience was worth the cost, asked why some things didn't resolve the way I prayed they would. Faith didn't remove fear or uncertainty. It simply refused to disappear when they showed up. For me, faith has never been the absence of struggle. It has been the framework that gave it meaning. Not clarity, meaning. Not resolution, direction. It didn't make life easier. It made it livable. Livable when I would have chosen escape. Livable when I would have preferred certainty. Livable when staying required more courage than leaving. There were times when faith didn't feel poetic or inspiring. It felt steady, sometimes stubborn, sometimes quiet to the point of frustration. It didn't explain everything or smooth every edge, but it anchored me when momentum failed and certainty ran thin. That's the part I don't want misunderstood. These reflections aren't a highlight reel. They aren't proof that things worked out or that belief guarantees peace. They exist because faith endured, not because circumstances cooperated, but because God held fast when I wavered, especially when I wavered. During my real-world years, I lived in this house part-time while working in D.C. I oversaw a portion of our Mid-Atlantic business, and West Virginia needed attention, so I drove back and forth more often than was efficient. I remember buying the mattress for this house during that season. It wasn't extravagant, just practical. But from the first night I slept on it, something was different. I slept. Not the restless kind. Not the hotel kind. Not the half-awake, phone on the nightstand kind. I slept deeply, consistently. Better there than in D.C., better there than anywhere else. At the time, I didn't think much of it. Looking back, I see something I missed. Before the fracture, before the gap, before I returned for good, there was already a place where my body rested. I did not yet understand why that mattered. I don't believe faith asks us to deny what hurts or rush toward tidy conclusions. I believe it asks us to stay. To keep choosing purpose when outcomes are unresolved, to live attentively, even when life is unfinished. And beneath all of that, the questions, the wrestling, the waiting, I've come to know something steady. I haven't always understood God's ways, but I have learned to trust His character, that He is good, that He is present, that His love does not withdraw when life is hard. It steadies, it stays. The goodness of God isn't fragile. It doesn't depend on my certainty or my understanding. It holds when answers don't come, when prayers sound more like arguments than praise, and when faith feels less triumphant and more persevering. I was held once by the people who showed up for me, on bleachers and back roads and around kitchen tables, long before I understood what that meant. I am held now by God, not differently, not distantly, with the same quiet faithfulness. The house is quieter now, not silent, not empty, just changed. The voices that once filled it have grown older, softer, slower. The rhythms are different, the laughter still comes, but it carries memory with it now. Some nights, after the porch light is the only one left on, I walk up the stairs and climb into that same bed. And I sleep. Not because everything is resolved, not because every prayer has been answered the way I imagined, not because the future is guaranteed, but because I am held. The house grows quiet for all of us eventually, and when it does, what remains is not what impressed the world. It is what endured. Love, presence, the steady character of a God who never left, still held.